especially we have a large backlog on the workshop part. So we'll be starting workshop right now. Is that okay? Let's list out what is Tomcat and we did Jenkins and we did Doc. Alright, that's what is finished. We still have Kubernetes, the whole AWS and the project. That's our overall outline. So let's see what we finished from a workshop perspective. We're done with Linux, right? Then we're done with Git, Apache, Nginx. That's all. We have done half of it, right? The Tomcat Smart File Deployment phase. That's where we stopped, all right? And we finished the workshop. So there's a lot of pendants. So if you don't finish it, then we usually lose track. So what we're going to do, we're going to complete this today and majority of this. Then tomorrow onwards, we'll get into theory again, and Docker will finish tomorrow. All right. Then Ansible, all that stuff. So what I want you to do is go ahead and open your repository where we have the documents, and let's get into Tomcat repo. I'll post the repo URL. Just give me a moment. That's a repository URL. I'll change the name, so you will have a different name now. That repository, get into Tomcat, Apache Nginx, and that tomcat.md. You'll also need a Tomcat server. So that's the Tomcat server URL on the page. All right, so let's go ahead and launch the Tomcat.
It has only 10 minutes left.
That's okay. That's just it's stopping after 10 minutes.
Right,
That's what happened last time.
after 16 minutes, 1 hour
Yeah. Apache Nginx is 60 minutes, that's correct, but this stopped after 10 minutes last time? No, no, no. You were working on this last time. This is an estimated time. This does not really mean that your server will shut down after 10 minutes. Did it stop?
After 60 minutes it starts.
After 60 minutes, it does.
There it is estimated time 60 minutes there.
That just I give rough estimates. That's it. That does not really mean it will stop. We will test it today. If it stops after 10 minutes, then I'll change it to 60. All right, so go ahead and start your Tomcat listing. This time you have to do a little quickly. Have installed Tomcat 8.5 on it. Yeah. Now what we can do is, if you open this script here, install Tomcat 8.5, it has everything in it. I just put everything into a script. All the steps which are in your document, I put those steps into a script here. If you do a CAD on it, it's just the same script with all the things that are in your another document. You can either go the long way or a practical way would be like this. So usually we don't really copy paste those commands always, right? So what we normally do is put everything into a script once and you keep executing the script wherever you want. This is the next level. All right. So this script is also available when you launch your server. It's available under /root. So install your Java first, and then you install your Tomcat 8.5 directly. So almost we are done with. If you compare it with your script, your documents, install Tomcat done. Set up Tomcat as a service will be done. No, we are not setting it up as a service. Instead, we are just using a regular one. That's okay. Then the users will be done. Allow access to Tomcat GUI. Then check the default page. That is okay. Run it and run the script and go to step task 5. You check your port number directly. So here, if you see this thing, that's the first step I'm running. It installs your Java. Go ahead and install your Java first. You just click on this thing. Now, I don't recommend clicking on this thing. Actually, type it. Right? You just have a feel of hands-on. So that's installation of Java happening. After the Java gets installed, we'll install Tomcat 8.5 uses script. And install Tomcat 8.5 also. That is what happens normally is that by default Tomcat allows access only from localhost. So when you install Tomcat server, the UI is accessible only from that terminal. Right. So only the curl command will work, but normally we are testing it on a remote server and we usually access it from another desktop. You always have to do that additional step wherein Tomcat allows access from other areas.
This step is not Windows.
Yeah, we are. No, I added it in the script. If you do a cat on that Tomcat 8.5 script, you will see that steps also. If you do a cat on here, okay. What happened? Transition. Maybe run outlet. It's not there. It's not there in it. Oh. Okay, let's see that. Let's see what happens. So go ahead and install Tomcat also. We will check that in a moment. ఇది వేరేది ఉంది. Properties. Okay. Pathway. స్ట్రెచ్ ఇప్పుడు రావట్లేదా? అది సరిగ్గా సెట్ చేయాల్సి ఉంది. స్ట్రెచ్ టు స్క్రీన్ బట్టి ఏమైంది? బాధ అయితే నేను వస్తుంది, డిలీట్ చేసే బాధ. The transaction. Alright, Tomcat is installed. Now if you see this Tomcat here, this is installed under this path. Alright, and it's not installed as a service. The script does not have that provision. So if you look systemctl status Tomcat, you won't see anything. Alright, this is not a service, it's a regular server. And you will have the scripts to start this server under opt tomcat 85. That's a home directory. So if you go to cd opt tomcat 85, you will have bin directory here. Under bin, there are two scripts. One is startup.sh, other one is shutdown.sh. These two servers, these two scripts are the general scripts to start up and shut down your Tomcat under opt tomcat 85 bin directory. You can quick stop shutdown.sh and startup.sh, I think. Yeah, startup.sh and shutdown.sh. And the way you check here about the status of Tomcat, netstat-nap, what's the default port for Tomcat? 8080. So right now it's up. You see this thing? Alright. And once you shut it down, the Tomcat server, and do a netstat grep again, you will not see this 8080. You can also do this quick check on 8080 from the UI here. So if you click on Tomcat UI, it will directly take you to 8080 port. Alright. Now if you are getting this page, it means default page is available. Alright. Now let's go back here. Go ahead and shut it down. /shutdown.sh. It will shut down your Tomcat. You can do a quick netstat-nap. You're checking for the port number. That's all you're doing. 8080. You should not see that 8080 port anymore. These are old connections. After a couple of minutes, they'll all go. They are all in time wait mode. Usually, all the TCP connections will have a wait time so that the OS can use the same connection again. You will not have anybody listening on 80. This is a column you're going to look at, the mid column. If a port is listening, you will have that 8080 here. Let's check it again. Nothing is running. All right, you don't have a 0.0.0.088. You can check it here also. If you hit the same port again, you should not see anything. All right. So that's your startup and shutdown without a service. If you have a service, you know the command already. Systemctl start, stop, restart, Tomcat, Tomcat 8 sometimes. All right. That's your installation of Tomcat. Let's go ahead and start your Tomcat, and we'll go directly to the deployment. How do we start Tomcat server? Startup.sh under Tomcat home. So startup.sh. It will start Tomcat. Quickly check the port number. Netstat-nap. grep for 8080. You see this? It's listening on 08080. That's your actual Tomcat server. You are also able to see this Java process. Tomcat is Java, right? Now this is the Java process ID, PID 21626. You can search for that one. How do you see the list of process on a system? PS-F grep for Java. You will see Tomcat server. This is your Tomcat server in another way. If your shutdown script is not working, you can kill it here. How do you kill the process? Kill-9, the process ID 21626. That's another way to kill the servers. The servers are not responding to shutdown command. This is how the Tomcat server looks on the back end. On the front end, from a GUI angle, this is how it looks like. So if you open this page, it's accessible. All right. Now we're going to deploy an application. Let's go back to our document. This is our Tomcat document. We are going directly to task number 8. Fine. Again, here, the default, here we are using OPT Tomcat directory, whereas in this, it's OPT Tomcat 8.5. All right, it changes from system to system depending on your installation. Let's go back. Let's go ahead and do task 9. We're going to deploy an application. The application var file is given to you from the developer. The var file name is sample webapp.var. Now let's see if we have that. I don't think we have it. You're going to need the Tomcat var file. And if you have the Tomcat var file, how are you going to deploy it? What's the deployment process for Tomcat? Let's say you're given the var file. How do you deploy it to Tomcat? That's bringing in. How is the deployment? What's the default directory? Well, that's a nice answer. It applies everywhere. Copy it to default directory. It works on most of the servers. You don't have to really know the default directory. Take a random thing. How do you deploy to Salesforce? Copy it to default directory. It's still a valid answer. That's nice. Good. Session ended. That's 10 minutes. It's 7:27. We started around 7 o'clock. Okay, let me change it. Everybody's session ended. Let me change that then. $60, would that be enough? 60 minutes?
Yes.
Or we will say 120? I don't think 120 it will stay. इधर आ जाओ. 'm going to launch a new session here. Same URL. Just refresh this page, it will launch a new session. Okay, I put 120 minutes. I'm not really sure this is actually a valid value. So start your scenario again. Alright, go ahead and install Java. Stream చూస్తున్నాం. Alright, that's your Java installation. Go ahead and install Tomcat. Type it there, click on it like I'm doing. Typing is really important. So Tomcat installation is done. I'm going to quickly check the default page. Alright, default page is accessible. So we are on task 9 again. Let me know when you're done. Tomcat deployment done, everybody? If you're done with Tomcat deployment, under task 9, begin to deploy as well as monitor the logs. All right? There is no second terminal here. Okay. I think I gave a wrong scenario. This is a wrong scenario, this thing. So we can't really do just like on a terminal 1, terminal 2. We'll do it on the same terminal. So first we'll deploy, then we will check the log file in the same terminal. All right? I'm supposed to give you a 2-terminal window here. I think I removed it somehow. I'm sorry about it. So to deploy, the process is to copy the WAR file into the default web apps directory, isn't it? Now you're going to need this WAR file. Now who usually gives this WAR file to you? So developer, means after the Jenkins build and all the unit tests are done, this WAR file is generated. And this WAR file is usually in your Nexus. So you're going to pull your WAR file from Nexus in a DevOps operations activity. We will see that after our Jenkins is done. But for now, the WAR file, we have copied it to your same repository. So if you see here, go into this repository and Tomcat Nginx, you have this WAR file, right? What I want you to do is clone the whole repository onto your server and just pick up the WAR file. You can't just pull the WAR file. That's you can, but you need a different URL. Instead, pull everything, the whole repository, and then get into this directory. You will find this WAR file. All right. How do you pull the repository? Git clone. That's correct. So git clone your repository URL. You can find it here. Copy your repository URL. Right now, this repository is a public repository, which means it's not going to ask you for any username password. But if it is a private repository, like we did on that day, like on workshop, we did a private repository, right? It's going to ask you for a username password, and that user should be a member of that repository. So this is a public repository, so it's not going to ask you for anything. So it cloned everything. All right. And if you see ls, you will see DevOps-cloud. That's the name of the repository. Go in there and you will find the same structure as you are seeing on GitHub. DevOps Cloud. We're looking for Tomcat file here. So go into Tomcat Apache Nginx and you have sample web app.war file. You also have encodeit.war file. We will do that one also. I just have to copy this file. So copy this file into OPT, copy sample web app. Sample web app.var into what's the default directory? OPT Tomcat 8.5 in this case. Web apps, all right. That's the default directory of Tomcat for deployment. So I'm just running a copy command. Copy a file into the destination directory. It's same as taking a backup. Copy file 1 to file 2. Instead of file 2, you can give a directory and it gets copied into that directory. It's a slight variation of the copy command that we are familiar with. Copy file name, directory name. So it gets copied into that directory. So run the command and cd to that directory where you have copied now. And if you do a ls, you will see sample web app.war file. Now, in just a moment, you will also see a directory here, sample web app. You did not create this directory. It actually gets created automatically. What happens is Tomcat will extract this var file. All right. Var file is an archive. So what Tomcat does is it extracts all the files inside that archive using a command like this in this case dot var. Just like a tar command. So just like tar command, you will have CDF to create archives and XVF to extract it. But in our case, we're not really doing this extraction manually. We just give this file to Tomcat. Tomcat will do that extraction for us. So for you, from a deployment perspective, we either copy this var file into this for deployment or we remove the var file for undeployment. That's it. This directory automatically gets created based on the presence of this var file. All right. Now let's go to the log file and see what happened after we copied this file. What's the log file name for Tomcat? Catalina.out. So let's go to the Tomcat default directory, Tomcat 85 opt. In this you will find logs directory. That's where all your logs are. Run a quick ls-ltr. Now this is your catalina.out file. All right. You can do a quick cat. Now you can do a nano, anything you want. Catalina.out. There are some errors. But before those errors, let's see what happened. We want to reach the place where it shows that sample var is detected. Go by the time approximately. Date command will give you the system time. So on system we are at 2:10. All right. Date command I'm looking at 2:10. Then if I compare it with the log file, this is approximately 2:00. There's nothing, anything. This is where the server started. Server startup. That's finishing the server startup. After that, there is no deployment. It's expected to show you the deployment. Look at the last line here. Yeah, I think we have that. Last single line here. What does the last line say? Deployment of web application archive has finished in 40 milliseconds. The last line. This one. There's another command. Now, while the log is getting generated, you can watch the live log using this command. Tail-f means follow this file. In our case, while the script is running, you can actually see the live log, but because we have only one terminal here, that does not make any sense. It will wait for the log, the tail command. Now, if you want to come out of the tail command, do a control C, you are out of it. Now let's go ahead and undeploy that file. How do we undeploy the file? Remove that directory, remove that var file. So I'm going to remove cd I'm going to run a direct command here, rm, or let's do one. Catalina.out file, I'm going to take this. See this. We are in OPT Tomcat 8.5, right? If it is web apps, you have your directory. If it is not web apps, and if it is logs, you have the logs directory. So I'm going to go into web apps directory here. Just remove the var file. Don't touch this directory. All right, it gets automatically removed once you remove the var file. So I'm going to remove this and quickly open the Catalina.out. All right. So rm, let me .var. Before I remove it, I'm going to do a semicolon. I'm not executing the command. Tail-f, the Catalina.file is one directory above the parent. All right. Catalina.out. What's happening here? The remove command, semicolon, tail-f, quickly kind of thing. Instead of doing it one after the other, it goes on. A semicolon, you can put semicolon and run a number of commands in a single line. When you want to execute multiple commands at a time quickly, so instead of typing, you can do this kind of thing. So I'm going to remove that, and it will immediately open Catalina.out. Let's see. See, it's removing, and deploy completed. So same thing with, let's go ahead and deploy and access the page now. I'm going to copy this file again. The file is available under /root DevOps Cloud Tomcat Nginx. All right, that's the file location, right? I'm just deploying it again and opening the Catalina.out file. You can't see anything. Deploy is not working, means I'm copying it to a wrong directory, most likely. It did not come here. I'm not sure where I have copied it. I think I copied it to logs directory. No. Not sure. Let's copy it again. opt cd/root DevOps Cloud Tomcat. Copy sample.var file to opt Tomcat 8.5 web apps directory. After that, copy is done. Tail the log file available at opt Tomcat 8.5 logs Catalina.out. Same command, two commands again. Yeah, now you see the deployment, deploying web app, and then deployment completed. You will see two lines. Try to do it, make sure it's working for you. And once you have deployed it, go to the page, Tomcat UI page, and you will access the web app using /hello world. What? That's not the one. Yeah, sample app, sorry. Yep, that's your sample web app. I want you to deploy it and show me this page. This is the page you'll get. So you access the UI and change the URI, last one, to sample web app. Now those who are done, there is another file, encodeit.var file. I want you to deploy that also and show me the page for that thing. So instead of sample web app.var, there is another archive also. You can deploy as many archives as you can, as long as the URI is different. Encodeit.var, right? I'm deploying this one also. Deployment of this application archive encodeit.var is completed. You can access the page again the same way. The server name remains same, but the URI in this case is encodeit/encodeit.html. This is the page. I want you to show me both these pages. First one is this. I'll post those things to Slack. So this one should be visible. Only take the last two things. Means only these two. This part will be different for you. Alright. So I want you to add sample web app and show me the page. And I want you to add encodeit/encodeit.html and show me this. So you're going to show me this page and this page. We have two WAR files. ls tailfnf catalina.out. The deployment is not completed, I think. Did you copy? Control C, ls, go to web apps directory, cd dot, enter, ls, cd web apps, ls. You don't have that directory. Copy copy the var file to this location. All right. Did you clone the direct repo? So go to the location where you have cloned it. Run a copy command. Copy sample web app.var and this directory location. cd var, okay. Too many arguments. Somewhere you put a special space or something. cd space sample web app.var. At the beginning, oh, it should still work. There is an extra space somewhere. Run it again. Not the CD, it's CP. They are doing a copy. Tomcat 85. Tomcat 85. The directory is slash opt slash tomcat 85. It's not same as in your document. The URI is different, probably. What's that one you are giving? Not the hello world, sample web app. Okay. Slash encode IT slash encode IT.html. What? Yeah. Copy this into this. Copy cannot this thing. It says no such file or directory. Yeah. Do you have the file? Do you have the file over there? Where is your file? I see the file. You go to the location where you have your file. You did a git clone, right? So go to the location where you did a git clone. You did a git clone, then it should be somewhere, right? Why are you doing a git clone again? And don't clone it into web apps directory. That's dangerous. So go to root. Just run a cd command. Cd, enter, ls. You're already in there. Okay. Okay, then I think yeah, you have a DevOps hyphen cloud, right? That's what you have cloned. CD in there. Yeah, go into CD DevOps hyphen cloud. ls. Go to the location where you have sample web app. Go into Tomcat directory, Tomcat engine extracting. First tab. It will fill everything automatically. Enter. ls. Alright, now you have web file here. So from here you have to run the copy command. Copy your sample this thing, and then the location of the remote direction. What's the problem? Go in this CD. Alright, Tomcat. Use tab. Press tab, it will autofill. Tab. Right. It will automatically fill it. Enter. ls. You see the sample var file? This one, right? Now copy this file into opt tomcat 85 slash web apps. So cp space cp space caps case sensitive. Or you can copy paste from here. Double click, right click, copy, paste. Copy space. I'll give the path. Slash opt, opt slash opt. Slash tomcat 85. Tab, use tab. After typing couple of letters, use tab. Slash web apps. Tab. Use tab. Right. Now copy it. Enter. Right, it's copied. Go to the URL. Here. Okay. Sample web app, S caps. Same as you typed in others. Sample, W caps. Yeah, whatever file name you have given, the same thing. W caps. Tab. A caps. Enter. Not apps, app, app. That's it. The same file name. ఇక్కడ ఏది ఉంటే అదే ఇక్కడ ఫైల్ నేమ్ ఉందా ఇక్కడ ఉన్నదే alright yes not the var file sample web app that's it no dot var a caps web app a caps so this thing sample web app when you're accessing the URL you won't have extension and this is that horseback notation. Every word starts with a capital Java notation. Everybody done with deployment? These are the URIs. If you are getting confused about that's a URL. This is gaps. The second one, encode IT.var file, the same host, encode IT.html, all small letters. These are the two URLs if you're getting not getting the actual URLs. We have deployed two different var files for these two different URLs. And these URIs are decided by the developers. Inside that archive. The web.xml is already deployed in Twitter. That is part of the var file that you have deployed. You got the second one? Yeah. slash encoded.html. There are two. Here you have only one. Here you have two. /encoded/encoded.html. Alright. What about you guys? Okay. /opt. cd/opt. Able to the base. Okay. This is the whole part. This is how it is into the jar file. If the file, that file is inside the jar. If you do the jar XVF, you see this web.xml file. And inside this, like how it should be decided, put it into the how it's done. It should be accessible. Right, that's it. That's it. No, you can deploy any number of apps as long as those URLs do not conflict with each other. Only one app can take one URL. So if they are different, you can deploy as many as you can. Yeah, read it. What does it say? It says CD. It's not a directory. It's a var file, right? You cannot really CD into a file. You have to CD into a directory. So when you do a CD, don't give the var file. Only CD up to this part. Right. Now do a copy of the file. Copy. Use tab. That's tab. Right. Now give the path of web apps directory. /opt tomcat 85 web apps. Right. Your URI is wrong. Right. Then the deployment is explain on this deploy has finished. Launch another one again. Slash sample e small w e b a e p web app. I think that is not apps. There is no s at the end. It's same as the file name. What? It's exactly the same as the file name. You got it, Pranav? You did not? What's the problem? File is not copied. Perfect. You know the problem. Solve it. Copy the file name and the destination directory. You should sit with him tomorrow onwards. No, come on now. Come on, go ahead. Don't worry. We'll help you out. Give him way. Let him move back. Help him out, Kesh. Any questions in the deployment so far? All right, but you have to know where to copy it, where to check the log files. And those who have deployed, deploy it and make sure the page is not accessible. Finish that part also. Yes. Java usually have servlets. Vars usually have the next means what we say is web archive, web components. So Java has three components: HTML, CSS parts, and then you have servlets and enterprise Java base. All right. Anything that has web components means the front end part. If they have the code, they usually bundle it into a WAR file. And anything that has a back end means enterprise archive, the Java beans and other stuff. All right. They usually put enterprise Java beans. They'll put it into an ER file. So web archive means you have front end related files. ER file means you have back end related files. jar is a very basic means a daisy kind of thing in middleware kind. Very basic stuff. No, they cannot serve Java code. They can serve only HTML and CSS. Correct. Tomcat can serve anything. This is an application server, so it can serve HTML, CSS, and Java also. So sometimes what people do is, if your application is very small, they bundle along with your Tomcat server also. So when you get an installer on Windows, normally when you get an installer, you double click it, that has a Tomcat server also inside it along with the files. So it installs the Tomcat server and puts the corresponding files onto the location web apps. That's the reason Tomcat is so popular. You can bundle the whole server. Mobex we can do it, but we cannot connect to these servers, Catacoda servers on Mobex. They do not provide SSH access. So if we have SSH access to the server, we can do all these things on using Mobex. Anything that we want the server to stay long with us, we usually provide an SSH access. We are using our own servers. Whereas stars are transferred. So that's the reason we are doing Catacoda. So when we actually move on to project level, because we want to keep it for the whole week, these things cannot stay. So we will do it in our own permanent environment. Yes. Copy this thing into that. Okay. Copy cannot. Sample var is not a directory. Don't use slash at the var end. Should not have. That's not a directory. Right? It's a file. So don't use it. Tail-F. Tail space -F. You already copied it. So copy command is successful. Now access. Alright. Slash. Now keep that post name as WCAPS, WEB, APP, that's extended. But you have your application. Yes. Perfect. It says no such directory. Then you should follow. It's not slash web apps. It's just web apps. Um, Dear PWD, see where you are. You are not in that correct directory, right? Where is web apps directory? It's under OPT Tomcat 85. You already exited it. When you execute CD without any parameters, it goes to the home directory. So now you have to go back to OPT Tomcat 85. That's where you will find web apps directory. CD slash OPT. Alright. Enter. Enter here. LS. Now you'll see web apps directory here. Now CD web apps. What you've been doing is CD slash web app you are doing. Slash means under slash, but it's not under slash. Then you need to copy it. LS. See what is there inside this directory. You have sample web app already. Delete that. Remove it. RM. The file name. That only flash your file. You just delete the file using RM command. RM file name. Got it? Good. Alright guys, that's your Tomcat deployment. So we know how to install Tomcat, how to start, stop, restart Tomcat, how to change the port number of Tomcat, then how to deploy an app and undeploy an app from Tomcat, and how to look at the log files of Tomcat. Alright, so that's pretty much most of Tomcat that you will need. Alright, let's get to the next part before we move on. Any questions? So that's our Tomcat here. Jenkins and Nexus, we're going to do it together. Let's see the structure of what we are going to do. This one you are getting, normally you don't. For this one, that has to be exposed to the internet using an external load balancer or something. That we will learn in AWS cloud. Or if you are an on-premises infrastructure, it has to be exposed through a router, usually a URL. These are all behind the firewall, so we don't really expose it to the outside world. Only one of them will be exposed, and that will be usually a load balancer. We'll see the structure in AWS to get more clarity once we go there. These are all individual components we are learning right now. Okay? That's all. Definition of what Jenkins and the code. Alright? A code is pushed to GitHub by the team developers using your git push origin main command. Alright? Or whatever it is. I want to have the code that is part of your, all right? That's your Jenkins. So Jenkins has essentially what we call jobs. What are the concepts of jobs? If required, compilation is required for programming languages like Java. All right. If it is HTML, you don't compile. You just put it there. You do a unit test, or before building, or even before compiling, you can do code quality check. Unit test also can be done. Then you deploy if you want to, or you can upload anything you want. All right. So what we are trying to do here is then we can build and upload to Nexus. That's what we are doing here. Simple ones. All right. And these are jobs. And we have seen three main types of jobs. One is freestyle. All right. The other type one is a pipeline job, which has two again scripted pipeline and declarative pipeline. Both are groovy, but usually declarative is more popular. Declarative tells you desired state. That's the keyword. You'll come across this keyword and how to do it. So you have Jenkins and you have Nexus. Nexus is a repository. So Nexus repository is for artifacts. Now you deploy or anything. Whereas GitHub is also a repository for code. Now Nexus is from the company Sonatype. So you see Sonatype Nexus a lot of times. Let's see what we're going to do now. Jenkins. Obviously, both of them. This also has installation. We're going to see the installation of Jenkins and the installation of Nexus. After Jenkins and Nexus, we have to link these two up. All right. Jenkins to any other software. So the next after the plugins are installed, we have to configure the plugins. All right. Installation only gives the code. All right. But you have to tell where your Nexus server is inside the plugin configuration. So installation is one step, and configuration of plugins is usually the next step. So you configure the plugins. From 4 or 5 plugins we're going to configure. Then after plugins configuration is done, that's a basic outline. Now for this document, let's go to our repository and you will have the document under Jenkins and Nexus. Where is it? Hello? Oh, strange. Alright, now this is the one, Jenkins Nexus. So click on the Jenkins Nexus and you have your Jenkins Nexus workshop.md file. You will need a new Katacoda server. I'm going to post that link URL just now. Launch this new one. So your Tomcat server is gone, so you can close that if you are done. The new URL I posted will launch a new Katacoda server. Alright, so this is Jenkins Nexus server installation on Ubuntu we are trying. Start the scenario. This is 60 minutes, huh? Just hold on a minute. Make sure you're launching the 120 minutes one. It takes little time. All right, that's a 120 minutes Jenkins Nexus server related stuff. Start the scenario. Now here, Jenkins is again deployed to Tomcat. It's Jenkins.war file. Just now we finished, right? If you go to Tomcat, I'm just scrolling back a little bit just to show you how the Tomcat looks like on Jenkins. Let's see the Tomcat server that's hosting our Jenkins. So Java, where is it? Oh, we haven't installed Jenkins, right? After we install, we'll see that. Okay, go ahead and install your Java and install Jenkins also. Follow the document here. We are going to install both Jenkins and Nexus on the same server. All right, so that's the reason you have multiple terminals here. So terminal 1, 2, 3, and the dashboard. Now let me give you a quick overview of what we're going to do before you go ahead with it. I see here, these are the list of parameters that we're going to, plugins that we're going to deploy. You have Slack. Let me put it this way here. Slack notifications. Why do we need Slack notifications? Whenever we want the developer to know what happened to the job. Now this can be email also, but Slack is more convenient and popular now. So we're going to push it to our own Slack. So Slack notifications you will have access, artifact, upload plugin. That plugin will take your file or the artifact and push it to the repository. Alright. Then also you have Nexus platform. That's also together with the earlier one. Then Git parameter one. Git parameter, this is another plugin which will allow you to create jobs based on the parameters. You can run it on a main branch or you can run it on branch 1 like that. So when you run the job, it will ask you which branch you want to pull the code from. Now that is given as a parameter. Alright? That is coming from Git parameter plugin. You'll see all those things as we move on. Then pipeline utility plugin is to create pipelines. We have seen this structure like this pipeline. So each of the stages that we are seeing here is part of the pipeline. Alright? Now it could be a scripted pipeline or it could be a declarative pipeline. We'll see both. Then we have disk uses. This is not related to jobs, but this is a general plugin to monitor your Jenkins. See, this is a very critical server, which means you have to make sure this is always up and running. It's not just that it can run jobs without being monitored. So you have to make sure your Jenkins disk usage is within the limits, because if you keep running a load of jobs, the disk space on the server fills up and the Jenkins server crashes or it stops responding. Means you will have jobs which are running halfway, they'll fail. Which means you have to be careful about monitoring your Jenkins. So this is one plugin that will help you monitor Jenkins. Then you have a dashboard view plugin. This is a very popular one. It will give you the overall view of all the things running on Jenkins, a complete visual, right? It's not necessary that there is only one job running on Jenkins at a given point of time. You can have 10, 20 jobs running, all right? Now you want to see a complete visual, quick view of all the things that are running, you can use dashboard view. Then git parameter plugin. This is also another plugin related to this setting, right? Yeah, I think I've listed it to that. So these are the plugins that you can install, and all of them will be configured also. Then we will also have Maven is for compiling for Java. So if you have Java jobs running on your Jenkins, you need Maven. All right. Once the plugins is done, then you're going to install and configure Maven. If it is not there, then Nexus repository configuration. After this plugin is installed, we'll have to go into the settings of this plugin and tell where our Nexus server is available. Alright, which means the installation of Jenkins and installation of Nexus we will do first. Alright, both servers will be available by the time we start with plugins. And then we will see Slack notification configuration, which means after you install Slack plugin, you will configure the details of Slack. So whatever Slack you have here, let's say you have Slack here. So you need to provide the details of Slack. Alright. Workspace, and there is a secret text. I'll provide you that thing. So once you provide username password, right, then you will be able to post it to Slack. And the Slack channel I have configured is the current channel that we are looking at, DevOps Cloud channel. So when we run Jenkins job, whatever happens to the job, we are supposed to get an alert on Slack. And once that is done, we will get into the jobs. The first job is freestyle job that we will configure, and we will configure parameterized job and then scripted pipeline and declarative pipeline. These tasks are not yet put in here. So probably if we finish all these things, we will get into parameterized, scripted, declarative. We want to spend some time here because it's going to take more time. That's where most of the focus is. But you can do these things only if you finish everything else before. Otherwise, you cannot really do any of these things. All right. So let's try to do these things quickly. So you launched your server. Now on terminal 1, you go ahead and install Jenkins. Oh, sorry, Java. Again, 3 terminals. Go ahead and install your Java, then install your Jenkins, and install your Nexus also. So just follow these guidelines here, whatever you have. I think the document has slight problem here. It also asks you to install Java again, so don't install Java second time. Alright, just install Java only once. So that's your Java installation completed. If you do it Java home, that's your Java installation. Java --version. That's the Java version. After Java installation is done, go ahead and install Jenkins. Now you have the Jenkins installation script here itself. You can do a cat on it and see what's inside it. It's just like your Tomcat, nothing much. Just go through the script once. It's /root directory. Do a cat on it and have a quick glance at it. The script installs your Jenkins and it also provides you the admin password at the very end. We have done it before when we were discussing Jenkins. Jenkins installation is done. Log into Jenkins and finish the remaining part. Now, while this is going on, you can actually do one at a time. So I'm going to do Jenkins installation here. At the end of Jenkins installation, you would have got the admin password. Alright. So click on this dashboard UI. What's your Tomcat default port number? 8080. So Jenkins default port is 8080. For Nexus, it's 8081. So even if you have the two servers on the same box or same virtual machine, you can still access them using two different ports. Jenkins on 8080 and Nexus on 8081. So this is your initial admin password. I'm launching a dashboard for Jenkins. What's the port number for Jenkins? 8080. So display port. You should get the initial page of Jenkins. This is the initial page of Jenkins. All of you got it? Monica, you got it? Fantastic. So give your password. Continue. It will install the basic plugins. The basic ones means Jenkins, it goes ahead and installs some basics. Some of these plugins already exist, some of them don't. So we will just check it, and whatever is missing, we'll install it. So install all the suggested. Now, if you don't want to install suggested plugins, you can install only selected ones. All right. By going ahead with the suggested ones. The password for this one is given at the end of the script. All right, here. Just before finishing the script, you have the password. Then you launch the UI using that 8080 port. Okay, no problem, sure. All right, create your username, something. I'm creating encode IT 123. That's the password I'm giving. Keep the password simple. It's not your bank account, so don't make it complex. If you forget it, you can't recover. So encode ID 123, just give some random stuff. Save and continue. Again, save and finish. That's a URI that will where your Jenkins will be accessible. Save and finish. That's it. Jenkins is ready. Start using Jenkins. So your Jenkins installation is pretty much done. All right. Now install Nexus on the second terminal. Keep it this way in case you need it. Go to terminal 2 and go ahead and install Nexus. Don't install Java again. Install Nexus. The Nexus installation script is also available there. You can have a quick look at it. Oops. This is Nexus. Right. I'm going to go ahead and run this script. Nexus installation.sh. Now that's wrong. The document is wrong here. The name of the file is not Nexus installation. It's Nexus installation underscore 8081. All right. So if you use mouse, you're going to have a problem. Type it. So dot slash Nexus installation underscore 8081 dot sh. Now it will go ahead and install Nexus for you. All right. Now that's your Nexus installation. Now this is supposed to provide you a password, but because the script is running fast, you will get a cat error. The file does not exist. Just wait for a moment and again do a cat command on the same file. See this thing here. Last one. OPT, Sonatype work, Nexus 3 admin. This is where the password is supposed to be stored. Your cat command is much faster. Even it's getting, doing a cat even before it gets generated. So run the cat command again on the same file. Cat file name. You will have the password. Now this is the password. It's there at the very end of that script. Just copy paste that location. OPT, Sonatype work, Nexus 3. Now when you are copying that one, there is a dollar at the end. That is your prompt. See this. Don't copy this dollar. That's the prompt. Alright? Now once you have copied the file, launch your UI. And what's the port number for Nexus? 8081. It usually takes a moment for Nexus to come up. So if the page is not accessible, just wait. Now this is what you will see for Nexus. Alright? This is the default page. I go ahead and log in. Click sign in. Now the default username for Nexus is admin and provide the password that you just now copied. Sign in. It will ask you to set up a new password. So next, set up a new password. Again, simple one. I'm setting up encode 8123. Next. It'll ask you confirm if you want anonymous access. We don't want anonymous access to this repository, which means we don't want anybody to download from this repository. Only those people who have valid username, password, or access to this repository should be able to download files, even if this is inside an organizational network. All right? Only one team which is authorized to download should